What's up everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a meal prep video, mainly because one, I have to meal prep this week, but two, the New Year's question answer that I did recently, a lot of people were asking like, is that Rocket, can you hear him? Please hold. As Rocket is playing with his toy. Oh, shoot it over there. Whee! I like how we look back. He's like, me?
He's ready for the camera.
Me? Anyways, so one of the most common questions that I got was kind of like, how do I meal prep my food? How often do I do it? What's my favorite cheat meal? Stuff like that. So I'm gonna go through like all the meal prep stuff today, as well as answer some more of your Q&A. So hopefully you enjoy it. And if you do, make sure to subscribe to the video. Like and subscribe to my channel. That's the one. All right, so everyone knows that I have a dog, clearly. Everyone knows that I'm in my off season, which means I get to enjoy more food. So you're gonna notice the portion sizes are much bigger. Fuck, it's so annoying. But also the types of meat that I get are more fatty. So instead of always having to eat like boring chicken breasts or during like literally the depths of prep when I just have to eat white fish, which is absolutely disgusting, I can now have ground beef and salmon for 2 out of my 6 meals instead of only 1. So that's absolutely stunning. So we're gonna do salmon and ground beef because I tend to get bored if I just eat just one, because eating ground beef twice in a day is lovely for like a week or two, but after like that, you kind of get a little bit bored. So this one is just really easy. We're just gonna pan fry that, but salmon, I'm gonna prep a little bit more. So we're gonna slice into this. Also, so sorry for anyone who doesn't like touching raw meat or looking at raw meat. You will have to do this for this video, or you can just skip ahead where we're not touching raw meat. I also don't like touching raw meat. I find it quite disgusting. The texture, the temperature, everything about it. Not a big fan. Salmon, I need my lemons. Also, you're gonna notice how when I cook, as per usual with my like chaos in the kitchen, little to no actual like rhyme or reason to what I do. I did not touch this with this yet, right? Stunning. And over to the side because I realized I put the raw piece of meat in the middle of my cutting board. So now I must adapt. I'm doing lemon and dill for my salmon because I did more of like a soy sauce one last week and I don't really feel like having that again because I get sick of stuff really quick. When it comes to meal prepping, I don't measure anything right now. So I know a lot of people ask like, do you measure your meat raw or like your rice raw, stuff like that? No, I basically prep everything in a way that if I were to put it in like a stored container, which you'll see I do later, I can then basically take it all out individually and then, I don't know why I didn't put the salmon in here, and then measure it during my cutting board for no reason. Anyways, we're gonna be super aesthetic and layer on our lemon on our salmon, and then I'm just gonna squeeze a lemon on top, which I also hate doing because then my hands get all sticky and there's seeds everywhere, but we're gonna ignore that. Also, you're gonna notice the reason why I don't actually have to measure anything beforehand either is also because everything that I'm cooking with is like 0 to no calorie stuff. So if I was doing like actual sauces, then I'd have to measure that stuff by tablespoon and whatever and then do all the macro calculations and stuff. I'm super lazy, so I don't do that. I like to just use like stuff I don't have to do that. So just gonna gorilla grip that dill and we're just gonna put it on top. Could I have washed it? Absolutely. Am I gonna wash it? No. Judge me if you want, but this is how I cook. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm like super proper because I'm not. I just basically do what I feel makes sense in the most efficient way possible. And if all my cooking friends, Wallace, judges me, then that's just how it goes. Because he judges how I hold my knife. Oh. Okay, garbage disposal. AKA my sink for now. We are gonna salt and pepper this, even though I salt and pepper it later, but we're gonna do that now. Isn't that aesthetic? Lovely. Anyways, technically for salt, I am for each meal supposed to have a 1/4 teaspoon, but I do that also when I'm prepping it. And then do I salt it again when I eat it? Like, yes, but I just do that just in case I forget, because then at least it's like minimally salted. And then salt and pepper. Stunning, looks aesthetic, took me like literally no time at all to prepare. Is my oven on? No, so we're just gonna have to stick that in. It's hopefully gonna cook by the time I'm done everything else. I know that's also not right to do, but I don't really care. My theory is as it warms up, it's gonna cook it anyways. And does it affect like my cook time and when I check it? Yeah, but I'm also not that picky with my food, so there's that. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm gonna do my vegetables next because this stuff takes a lot less time. Or do I wanna do my chicken? Loading. I wanna do my chicken. Get a different cutting board. It's funny, I told Patrick before we started filming, ow my nail, that I'd be super prepared for this video. Not prepared. At all. But it's fine. Okay, so for chicken, I only have this meal once a day. which is so nice for me because honestly after prep, I was really sick of eating chicken because it's like, not that it's like dry because I can't cook, but like honestly, it just got to the point where I would just, the faster I cooked it, the better it was. So I would just cook all the moisture out of my chicken and then have to eat it, and it tasted like not blessed. So I'm gonna wash my chicken, partially because I feel like this video is being filmed. And if I don't wash my chicken, people get mad at me. But sometimes I don't wash my chicken, not gonna lie. So because my meal for my chicken is only once a day, I'm only doing a small bit of chicken. Typically, I would do 2 packages. I don't have to do that anymore because I also only meal prep enough for like 3 to 4 days. Mainly because I just feel really sketchy eating food that's been in my fridge longer than that. I just feel like there's for sure bacteria and I'm gonna get food poisoning of some type. So in terms of how often I meal prep, I'll usually meal prep on Sundays and Wednesdays. And that way it's like a good amount of food. So Wednesday meaning that like I'll still eat the food Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, prepped food from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday prep. So that's personally what works for me, but honestly just find a schedule that works for you. And the reason why I do that is just because like halfway through the week, again, I can have like a little bit more variety and not just have the same food all the time. Otherwise it's really gross. Also the sound of meat touching and like being cut and stuff, disgusting. Not my favorite. Other protein that you can have that's similar macros to chicken, you can have turkey breast. Turkey breast is really good. You can have white fish. So my personal favorite is haddock, cod, or tuna. Like a canned tuna salad sandwich. Stunning, so good. And for someone who's like not on prep or like you're allowed more calories and stuff like that, it's still a very healthy meal, but it's just less boring than chicken, rice, and broccoli or chicken, rice, and beans, whatever you have as your vegetable. And it's still a lean protein. You can also have shrimp, but the thing is with shrimp is because it is so lean almost, it's like in order to have it in my meal plan, I actually have to have more shrimp. So if I was having chicken at like say like 100 grams, I would have to then have say like 120 grams of shrimp just because it is, ew, what is, I swear, sorry, I don't want to close up on this because I know people don't like meat, but like this doesn't look real. This bothers me so much when I buy chicken. Like, why is it shredded? That's weird. But yeah, those are your other lean protein choices. And then typically with my leaner proteins, I always get cheese or like avocado, or you can choose to cook with coconut oil or oil. And those are my typical fat sources, or cashews. Like if I'm making a stir fry, I'm trying to like talk to you guys and do this without chopping off my finger. Because quite honestly, that was just fear. When I was sending over what we were doing today for filming, I was like, yeah, we're gonna do meal prep. And then I had this like visual of me literally cutting off my finger and bleeding all over my YouTube channel. And I was like, is this something that I wanna do? But it's okay. We're focused, we're good. When it's time to catch up, ask me anything. That's what we're gonna answer. So the first one is coming to train in Australia. So during prep and off-season, like during my bodybuilding era right now, I'm not traveling a ton. However, I do have my friend's wedding in Australia of January 2026. So I will be making a trip that way, which I'm super excited for. So when I make that trip during that time, January 2026, I will definitely be staying in Australia for a couple weeks after, because there's a ton of people there that I want to collab with, as well as I just feel like the calisthenics community out there is just so strong. So I'm really excited for that. But that won't be for a while, but I will come out that way. You're gonna quit playing with my heart and join the challenge already. So fun fact, the challenge, like MTV's The Challenge, is my favorite show to watch. Like if you guys have not watched it, it's a mix of like Survivor and Big Brother together. And a lot of your favorite contestants from those shows are in this show. And it's like the most physical, like demanding show I've ever watched, and brain. Cause sometimes I have to answer math questions and I'll watch the challenge and I'll be like, yo, like I could do this. And then I realize how much stuff they have to do. Like sometimes there's like long division. And I'm like, I don't think I would pass that. Or like puzzles. Can't do puzzles to save the life for me, or say whatever the saying is, I can't do it. But if you guys ever want to watch like a good challenge show or like a good game show type thing, you should watch it. And also TJ Lavin, who's the host, follows me on Instagram. So I'm really hoping that's my in, and MTV makes an exception and puts a Canadian on the show, because I would really enjoy that. It'd be like the highlight of my life. The 2 shows I've ever wanted to be on, The Challenge, Survivor, which I know I can apply for because I'm Canadian. I can do that one. And then I want to be a guest judge on Iron Chef America. I don't even know if that show's still running, but as a kid, I grew up watching it and they'd always have like a celebrity judging and tasting the food. And because I love food, I would just want to be there. Not because I'm famous, but because I just want to eat the food and like try good stuff. Those are my 2 dream shows to be on. Chicken, we're keeping simple, salt and pepper. Mainly because during the week, sometimes I'll flavor it, but if I do salt and pepper, it gives me the freedom to like make it whatever I want with my meals throughout the week in case I get bored. It's also like if I'm being quick and lazy, it's the easiest thing to do. So we're gonna put that over there. We're gonna cook it later. We're gonna grab my rice cooker. which I just got recently. Don't look in the inside, it's dirty. Don't judge me. Sometimes I get all my materials for cooking and I'm like, I have to clean all this shit. We're gonna grab my rice. We're gonna do 3 cups because 3 cups usually lasts me all my meals, because each meal I have 120 to 125 grams of rice. So for 3 of my meals, that much rice, almost 400 grams of rice a day. So I do have to prep a lot of it. Sorry, you probably didn't even hear any of that. That was super loud. So last time I did a video of me washing rice and I said, oh, I don't like to wash my rice because I don't like whatever. People actually told me that you wash your rice not because it's dirty, lol, because I'm silly stupid, but it's because it gets all this like starchy shit out of it. So you basically have to do this until the water runs clear, which takes a lifetime. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna run it till it runs like semi-clear. Now during off season, I do have the option of eating things like bread. So sometimes I'll actually make myself like a sandwich, or I'll have like the option of doing pasta or potatoes. However, jasmine rice just digests the best for me. And what I mean by digest, I mean like I don't get bloated or I don't feel heavy after my meals, because those are 2 signs that food doesn't digest well for you. So if you're eating something and you feel like really sleepy after, it's not easily digestible for you. Or if you're eating it and you feel like distended in your stomach or like really full in your stomach, that's another sign that it's not easy for you to digest. And honestly, I'm so used to feeling really good because prep, I'm always eating easily digestible foods, that even in off season, I'll choose to have rice, even though I love potatoes and I love bread, but I just don't like the feeling of being heavier, especially when I'm about to like work out or like do flips and stuff like that. So I like to keep it as clean and as close to high performing or like best performing foods as I can for myself. Moving on to vegetables. Like I said earlier, I'm lazy and efficient in this kitchen. So we're gonna use a chopper because I recently started doing this and it saves me so much time and it's fun to do. What's your favorite food? My favorite cuisines to eat are Korean, Vietnamese, and Japanese. Those are my favorites, so I definitely want to visit those countries. In terms of favorite meal prep foods, like in terms of healthy foods, chicken stir fry I think is probably one of my favorites. And then I love my ground beef with mixed vegetables. That shit slaps. Like during prep, in the depths of prep, when I'm eating my last meal and all it is ground beef and veg, that's my favorite thing in the entire world. Like it is my savings grace, because like if I didn't have that meal, I'd be so sad. So those are my favorite prep meals. Favorite cheat meal, because I know that's also a question in my little Q&A. Lately, it's been sushi, or like I've been dying to have this, like, and I still haven't had it. I don't know why. I want a loaded grilled cheese. Like I want one that's loaded like red bread, like thick bread with like butter. And then I want like all types of cheese. I want like brie, I want cheddar, I want Gouda, I want like, I don't know, whatever good cheese there is. And then I want to have it loaded with protein. This is so loud, so sorry. So I want to have it with like steak. I want to have it with bacon and like throw in like an egg or something. And I think that would be so freaking good. So that's what I really want, is a loaded grilled cheese. It's still on my wish list to have, but I just haven't had it yet. But see how easy that is? I love that. Did you write down your own affirmations, and how do you learn to write them? So I do write my own affirmations. I will say, ever since I've become less stressed, because during prep, as everyone knows, I was in a very dark mental state and I honestly needed it. I haven't needed to do it in a while. I find I do affirmations mainly because I need to like ease my like toxic inner mind of like being like, you suck. And so if I have affirmations, it helps me a lot, but I've been pretty good during off season to not have that. So I'm not as regular with it. When I did do it though, I would make all of my own affirmations. I just did things that like really resonated with me. So if I knew I was having a day of like self-doubt or like feeling pressure and stuff like that, I just tried to like say things to myself that made me feel better. So it's like, how I perform does not define me as a person was one that like really carried me through. Another one is that like everyone who supports me and stuff like that, which is something I learned this year, is supporting me because of who I am and not like what I do. So whether if I'm doing bodybuilding, calisthenics, content, whichever, people are proud of me for me and not necessarily like everything else that I do, if that makes sense. Like people like to see like my work ethic and my discipline and stuff like that, and that's enough for everyone. I don't have to be winning, I don't have to be doing all these things in order for people to like want to support me and care about me, which is another one that really got to me during season. And then sometimes if I needed like a little bit more insight, I would turn to like a website and kind of like look at like some deeper questions, and that was sometimes helpful. But for the most part, it was just basically what resonated most with me at that moment in time. And I always did them in the morning to kind of help set the mood for the entire day. And if I needed to, like especially before my routine practice, when I would get extra anxious, I would do them again. And those ones, it would be more like, I would write them in my notes in my phone, and it would be like quick ones. It'd be like, unless my oven finally heated up, but Those ones would be more like, you're capable of your routine, you're powerful, you're light. Like it was all these little affirmations that would help me perform my routine better. So ones in the morning were more about like my entire self-talk of myself as a person and things to carry me through the day, versus the routine is very specific to a performance self-talk in my head. Someone asked, do you like playing racket sports? I can't really answer that because I don't really play sports. I'm not like a sporty girl, never have been. I'm not very well coordinated. If you ever ask me to like dribble a basketball or like kick a soccer ball, I look like I have never done athletic things in my entire life. So I tend to stay away from those things, mainly because one, I don't have a lot of time, but two, I'm just someone who hates being bad at things. Like I get so frustrated with myself when I get bad at things. So no, I'm not a big racket sport person. How is my training going? I would say it's going pretty good. Like I'm working on some new things for my routine this year that I have not told anybody because it's secret and low key and I don't want people to know because I want it to be a oh, my rice. No way is my rice done. Oh, did Taylor add water into this? I don't think I did. LOL. Okay, so my rice is gonna be burnt. Yeah, there's no rice in this bitch. Panic! Step number 1 for rice is to add water in case anyone needed to know that. But luckily, we fixed it. Let's try that again. Ta-da! Anyways, what was it? How is training going? Training is going well. I'm working on new things. Shout out Christian at Monkey Vault, who's been helping me a lot, and Julian. And of course, all the OG guys. Like, I still train with Zandy every week. I know I don't super post what I'm doing at Monkey Vault anymore, mainly because I'm trying to keep it secret. Because I think one of the big things is like, obviously I've competed now 2 years in a row in the fitness division, and kind of people know based off of my Instagram, based off of like my routines that I've done, what to expect. They know it's gonna be handstand sequences, they know it's gonna be tumbling sequences. So when it comes to learning new skills, I want it to be more of a surprise this year. And so that way when, you know, judges and the audience see it and like other competitors see it, they won't be expecting what I'm doing, because I want more of like a, wow, Taylor's like, does more than this stuff. So that's why I'm trying to keep it more low key. But they've been really helping me a lot with what I've been working on. And I'm really excited to showcase that this year. So hopefully training continues to go well. And I can actually put in like I would say it's about like 2 new tricks and then more fun transitions is gonna be what it's gonna be. Which is like, it's like not necessarily like skillful things, but it's like things to make the routine look different than what I had previously in the other years. Stunning. Because I'm gonna use this later. So yeah, training is going well. Strength training is going well. I think all my weights are going up. My bench is finally getting better. When I came back from Bali, my bench was absolute literal ass. Like I was struggling with 135. And I've always pride myself on being able to do 135 for like 5 reps always. So when I came back from Bali, like I was struggling at 3 reps and I was like so annoyed. So I finally climbed up to doing a 5x5 at 145, which doesn't seem like that much, but like it's a pretty good jump from what I was doing before. And I'm hoping to be able to like do my bench 185 again before season starts. So that way I can like post it and like actually feel like I can do my bench. Because right now I've only done it once and it's on my Instagram. Is it on my Instagram? It might not be on my Instagram. I posted it on my story though. And I feel like when I do things and I never do them again, I feel like a fraud. So I wanna make sure that I can post that and show you guys that I actually do have a strong bench. My other lifts have all been getting better except for my pull-ups. My pull-ups are a little bit in the weaker area. That was not executed properly. Also, this is my fridge for you guys to see it. This is not organized, this is not it. But I have obviously my hydration, my water, my energy drinks, Celsius, and then I have all my vegetables, egg whites, creams, I put that in my coffee still. And then I have all my vegetables and my dairy products. I love cottage cheese, that's currently my favorite. And then this is where all my meal prep will go up here, so you guys will see that at the end. But no one asked, but that's just my fridge. Because I feel like, sometimes, most creators do have like aesthetic stuff, and I feel like I'm not aesthetic. Also, it's definitely how you cut a pepper, but it's fine. One time I was cutting a jalapeno, and I touched my eyeball. It burned. It burned for like an hour. I had to sit there with like a cloth of like milk on my eyes because it was like burning. So, next question is, what are 5 things I could not live without? My dog. Rocket is number 1. Friends and family, obviously. The gym, because it keeps me sane. What is that, 3? I feel like outdoors, does that count? Like, am I a plant? I sound like I'm like a plant right now. But I think like outdoors, being in the sun, or like just like having the ability to like go outside, even though it's freaking freezing right now in Canada. Even just having like days of the sun, like I really realize how much I enjoy being out in like open, fresh air. So that's something I couldn't live without. What else? could I not live without? I feel like people usually have like a good list. I don't really have a list. My phone. That makes 4. My phone, because my entire life and my business is on that thing. And I'm also on my phone. My screen time, hideous. My screen time it went down from 18 hours to like 12, which is crazy because I don't even think I'm awake for 12 hours, let alone 18 hours. But my screen time is actually one of the most hideous things about me, and something I did try to change within the last like 3 to 6 months. So I try to like not scroll on Instagram as much. I try to like only be on my phone when I need to be. I'm still super fast at texting. If that was a superpower, that would be mine. Sometimes I will like reply within a minute of you texting me. Not because I'm on my phone scrolling and being disgusting with my screen time, but just because it's like usually like this, like in front of me. So like if something pops up, I can reply right away. Or it's just like in my hand. The only time I don't reply is when I'm sleeping or walking my dog. And obviously like driving and all that stuff. Will I be training for the next year's Olympia? Yes, and currently in my off season, I'm sitting at 115.3 right now. My stage weight is 102, so we're in like a good spot. I will jump into prep probably at the end of April. No, oh God, not the end of April, that's way too soon. No, jump scare myself. Probably the end of May, because I'm gonna compete. As of right now, Olympia is the only competition I have set in stone for to compete at. Am I contemplating competing like before? It's either gonna be the August show in Toronto, which is the Natural Pro Show. So if you are from Toronto and you would come see me compete, I would wanna compete at home because I wanna compete with my friends and my family really close. Now we don't have to like literally jump on a plane to come watch me, like you can just see me at home. But also like for the community to come see, because obviously you guys see what it's like for me to be in prep because I vlog and do the entire thing, and to like see the actual final result would be really great. So if you would want me to compete at home, I would. So if you want that, comment below. And then the other potential show, which is a show that I love, is the Arizona Pro Show, Wings of Strength, because it's an all-women show. So like the judging panel is all women, all the categories are all the women categories, and I just think that's like such a really fun concept. Not fun, but like it's like a meaningful concept. And I think it would be really fun to be a part of that show and to just show up, because that's something that I really like, is seeing women in sport and seeing women support each other. So if I can be a part of that, I definitely would. It's just the date also falls not at the most ideal time before Olympia, but again, because it's something that I want to do, I'm contemplating it. So that's kind of like my show plans for 2025. Before I answer another question, let me cook some stuff, because right now the only thing cooking is my salmon, and I'm supposed to be cooking more stuff at the same time. So vegetables are going first. I right now use extra virgin olive oil. During prep, I use 0 calorie spray, which like isn't a real thing. It's all calories, but it's like better. So we spray so nothing sticks, even though all my pans are non-stick, it still sticks. It's so annoying. So if you know any brands that don't stick, let me know, because it's awful to have to clean everything, because I'm, as I said, lazy. Should I wait for the pan to heat up fully? Probably. Do I ever? No. So we're just gonna dump it in. The reason why I like doing the vegetables cubed like this is because it's like make-believe salsa. You know, not that I can't have salsa, but it's like, if I can avoid having a sauce, then I will. And like this cooked is like the same thing pretty much. That will cook eventually. And then this pan, I think my chicken will fit in here, but I also think it won't. Okay, it fits enough. Did I overcrowd the pan? Probably. Would other people judge me for it? Probably, but works for me. We're gonna leave that. I'm not gonna cook my mushrooms. I'm a liar. I don't want these. But yeah, that's pretty much it for meal prep. As that stuff cooks, I can now focus fully on answering my questions and not be semi-distracted. Okay, over there. What is your earliest memory of enjoying fitness? So this is when I was like a child in gymnastics. My favorite memory is like, if you were, I don't know if gym clubs have them anymore because they might just be like a safety hazard, but there was like this big like net, like almost like a rope net that would hang over like a giant like pit of foam, and you would climb it as a kid, and then like, if you had to fall off, you just fall off on the pit phone. But I remember that was like one of my very first gymnastics classes, and I loved doing it, and like that's what kind of got me into like loving gymnastics, because I loved that like part of equipment. And in terms of like my early gymnastic memories, like that is always the one that comes back and plays in my head. So I think that's my earliest memory of enjoying fitness. In terms of actual like working out fitness, I think one of my favorite memories was like just working out at my local gym and like doing handstands and stuff like that, because I feel like that was like kind of the beginning of what I do now. But at that point, like I wasn't even filming it, I was just doing it. So like I've always said, the reason why I like my Instagram is because it's something that I would do whether I was being filmed or not being filmed. And that's like a perfect example. Like I would do random challenges or just like see how strong I was back then. And it's kind of cool that it's now moved into like what I can do as a career. So it's like, that's what purely brings me joy. Oh, fave Celsius flavor. The one I'm drinking right now, it's on the kitchen counter, but it's like the orange one. I like orange, and I like guava kiwi, And then I also like, this one's not available in Canada, but it's in the US. It's the peach green tea. That one is so good. It's not fizzy, it's like a flat one, but it's like my favorite. It's so good. What is my biggest weakness and how you're attacking it? I think last year my biggest weakness was my brain, like my mind, like quite literally. I've always said that I'm a mentally weak athlete. I've always said that. However, I think last year was the proof of it, kind of, because I feel like I let my mind get the better of me for a lot of things. So I think in order to attack that this year, or like to be better at it, it's kind of like just like taking those moments to like fully relax and give myself like a full rest day, or like to allow myself to journal, or give myself time to like reflect and give myself affirmation. So I think that's how I'm training my brain better this year. And then I think this year too, because of how much stress I put myself on last year, and like I literally felt the weight of everything so much. Even going through my off season right now, I feel so much lighter, because probably the worst thing could have happened last year in terms of like my performance. Like I was not proud of what happened on stage, and that's always been like my biggest fear of like not performing the way I want to. Because that's already happened and the worst is like occurred, I feel like it's only up from here. So in terms of like weight, I feel better. I feel like no matter what this year, I'm gonna be going in and doing a really good routine. And I think one of the major things that kept on happening to me last year was that I was saying things and thinking things, and it's the whole thing of like where your mind goes, your body follows. And so when people would be like, oh, like you're gonna do great at your routine, and I'd always be like, oh, like you never know, I'm gonna mess up. Like you never know what's gonna happen. I feel like me just like quote unquote being humble was actually not being humble. It was just me being like doubting myself. I think if I just got into it being like, yeah, like I know my routine's really good, but like your routine's also really good. Instead of saying something like that, I would just put myself down instead, which I think is like where my body followed. And I think this year, like there's just like a feeling that I have where it's like whatever I put on this stage this year, I'm gonna be super proud of. And I know it's gonna be amazing. So I feel like in terms of my mental, it's already a step ahead from last year, because I've changed how I think of things and how I wanna like communicate to people, because you can still be humble but believe in yourself. There's a difference between like, I think it's called humble confidence versus arrogant cockiness, I think it is. There's something that I heard it somewhere and I was like, click, that totally makes sense. That answers a couple of questions in this Q&A, because I know there's a lot of questions in there about like how I feel about my routine, what are my plans for my routine, like how do I want to perform this year at Olympia. I just know that I want to perform the best routine I can on that stage. That's a disgusting ASMR, and I know it's gonna happen, so I'm really excited for that. How much do you weigh? I'm thinking 126, jump scare. I'm gonna take that as a compliment though, because maybe you just think I'm so jacked, I have to be 126 pounds, but I'm 115.7. Most of my off season I've been 113 to 115-ish. Do you have a hobby that you love to do but did not post on social media? My Lego. Stunning. So much Lego. So that is definitely a hobby of mine that I freaking love. I have never posted me doing Lego, mainly because I just haven't learned how to set up my camera to do that. But now that I have 5 new sets, is that 5? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5 new Lego sets, I'm gonna try to film them, because I do think these ones are like super sick, and I wanna like do the ASMR like of them clicking together. So I will wanna try to post that on the social media, but I haven't in the past. Oh, how do you get out of slumps? Also, how's the doggo? Rocket's stunning, as you guys can see. He's doing great. How do I get out of slumps? If I'm in a slump, sometimes I'll just let myself sit in it, quite honestly. Sometimes I'm just like, today's gonna be a sad day, and I just let myself be a little puddle. And I let myself feel my emotions, which is something I didn't used to do, but I do feel like actually expressing yourself and getting it out of your system helps a lot. And the other thing I do is like, I rely on my friends a lot. So if I'm in a slump, like main people that I typically text, Felly, shout out Felly, I think I texted her the other day just being like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm not making progress. And like she's someone who like, she's also in bodybuilding, so she's able to like talk me through and be like, obviously you've made progress, you've done XYZ, like go back to here, and like look at it. Jody's also someone I've reached out to about that kind of stuff, as well as Sylv, two of the coaches that I work with. And I think it's just like really important to have a really good community. I also think the friends that I work out with and hang out with, even if I don't tell them I'm in a slump, but just by me physically going to hang out with them, their positive energy is able to bring me up as a person, rather than like me just sitting at home or like training alone. So I do try to surround myself with people who I know is like positive energy to get me out of my slump. And then also just like cuddling my dog, because Rocket just like is the epitome of happy. Like I look at Rocket sometimes and I'm like, how are you real? Like you're so freaking cute. And that usually makes me pretty happy. So that's typically what I do for slumps. I think also sometimes with slumps is you can actually go back and like look at where you started to now. I think actually like seeing it. So sometimes if I'm in a slump, for instance, about social media, I'll actually go back and like scroll through my social media page and be like, this is where I started with my social media. This is everything I've done. And like, this is where we're going, or this is how far we've come. And I think that helps like, again, kind of get me out of a slump of like, I'm not doing enough, I'm not improving, or I'm boring, or like all those things. Like to go back and be like, wow, like no, these videos are cool. So if I think I'm cool, that's like number one most important. So it's really important to just go back and like see that kind of stuff, because sometimes we just lose track of that throughout our fitness journey in our mind. But I think my food's burning, so I can hear it sizzling. So we're gonna go check on it. Stunning. I also don't like to cook my peppers all the way through because I don't want them to be soggy. My chicken, don't judge, it's a little clumped up right now. Imagine I was like, hey, this is how I cook my chicken. I like it medium rare. I like it rare. I like to be poisoned. Do this with perfect execution. Oh, fuck. So close. Those came out of nowhere, to be honest. There's a lot of onion in this. We almost had perfect execution. Honestly, way better than I thought it was gonna go. I thought this stuff was gonna be all over my kitchen counter. There we go. Vegetables done. Usually too, because spinach is so quick to cook, I'll usually like do spinach and this. I think you guys are about to be appalled about how I cook my ground beef, but one, I'm not washing my pan. Sorry, not sorry. Two, I literally, and I leave it. Because it's like, I leave it there and then I'll mash it up later. Stunning, so easy to cook. This is why my meal prep's so easy, because I don't really cook properly. Oh, another question someone actually had was like how long it takes to meal prep. As you guys can tell through this video, I feel like we've been filming for like definitely less than an hour. Let's say 30 minutes. I usually can get all my meal prep done if I'm not answering questions and all that stuff and I'm like focused within like an hour. So when people are like, I don't have time to meal prep, I'm like, you do, 100% you do. You just aren't making the time, because if you have an hour to scroll on Instagram, watch TV, take a nap, whatever it may be, like you have time to meal prep. It's not that hard. And I feel like a lot of people make it seem like you have to be like really aesthetic, because truthfully, I feel that pressure, because when I watch people like, come meal prep with me, or like, come whatever with me, do this, I'm always like, how are you so aesthetic? Because my shit is like it's edible, but like, is this stunning? No. But everyone else on social media always makes it seem like, oh, my meal prep is like beautiful crafted granola bars with like beautifully crafted like homemade burger. Like, no, I'm making bare minimum, super quick. It still gets the job done, still nutrient dense, and it's not gonna take me all freaking day to do. So that's me. My rice is actually cooked now, and it doesn't look like it's like, you know, dead. Fluffy. And we're gonna do that. Yep, that's how I cook my ground beef. Technically, it's like a steak if you're thinking about it. You're going to basically pack it and then, or scoop it and then plump it down, because my goal is to get all the rice that's in this rice cooker in this container. Does it make it a little bit harder for me to get the rice out when it's actually been cold? Yes, but I don't like to dirty that many containers. So that's my other little lazy bit about me. Stunning. There's a lot of rice still left in there, but I believe, you know what this reminds me of? Did anyone ever watch the show Recess with like TJ Detweiler and like Randall? I know I don't think there was a scene of this in there, but I just remember like what it would be like if I was like a cafeteria lady, like scooping food onto someone's plate. Okay, I can do it. Okay, ready to see whether I was able to accomplish my goal. I feel like I'm sculpting a masterpiece, but all I'm doing is shoving rice in a container. Stunning. Just like that. Now that I've shown you how impressive I am, that's 3 cups of rice in this. That's so impressive. And that's 3 peppers, a jalapeno, and a red onion all together. Look, now I mash it up. I feel like my salmon surely's done. It's been in there since we started this video. Oh. Or maybe it's done. All right, how much you wanna bet it's done? That looks done. Look at that. Stunning. See, so it doesn't matter when you put your salmon in. You can put it in when it's not even on yet, and it'll still cook. I have all the meal prep containers. I honestly love these ones though. These ones are from Amazon. I like glass containers. I don't like plastic, because plastic, if you ever have like a sauce, it dyes the container and you can never get it clean. And I find that so frustrating. Also, plastic containers, I feel like just like carry smell. And so if I'm having salmon, I don't want to use a salmon container and then not have salmon in it and then have my like things taste like salmon. I don't know if you're supposed to store the lemons with the salmon, but I do. And if I was smart, I would have done this on tin foil, but I'm not smart. And I have to unstick all the salmon skin. Also, if you haven't noticed, I don't use oven mitts. I just hold things with my sleeves. We're almost done our meal prep. All right, so our ground beef is cooked. It looked doubtful at the beginning, but we managed to make it work just like that. And then my chicken, which I made sure was cooked, because I did a little thermometer thing. Oops, chicken juice, disgusting. You know what? It's going in, I don't really care. I'm not gonna try to fight it. Here we go, look at that. So we got salmon, chicken, ground beef. We have our veggies and our rice. And then actually I meal prepped the other day my egg bites, which you guys saw in my reel, the other day. This is what I have for breakfast. I know they don't look that good because they kind of look bedraggled when they're cold. But I have these for breakfast because it's nice and easy. This is asparagus that I'm gonna throw out because it's also bedraggled, so we're not gonna look at that. But this is basically my meal prep. It's a lot of food and it's easy. I have 6 meals a day. So when it comes to like my meals, my breakfast is 3 of these guys, a piece of toast or 25 grams of oats. And then I usually have cheese in these, so I don't really have extra fats. But if I do get extra fats, I'll add peanut butter to the oats. And then I also get 70 grams of a fruit. I choose apple or banana. And then my other meals are 110 grams of chicken, and then 120 grams of rice with 8 grams of olive oil, or I can have like 15 grams of cheese or 30 grams of avocado. And then my 2 other meals, which are identical, are my fats meals. So I usually have a pre-workout meal of 110 grams of ground beef, 125 grams of rice, and then I can have the option to add like a little bit of cheese on there. I usually tend to avoid that because I'm heavy with the cheese. I never go a little bit of cheese, I just can't do that. So I just usually stick it to that. And then I'll have my post-workout, which is 1 scoop of Transparent Labs protein powder. I really like their mint chocolate chip, or I even like their vanilla. And I'll have that either in like a shake on itself with almond milk, or I'll have it as a protein ice cream with my Ninja Creamy, delicious. And then I usually have that with 60 grams of cereal. I like Cheerios. I know in my recent reel, people were like, what's lean cereal? To me, lean cereal is anything that's either like lower in carbs, so Cheerios is pretty safe, or something that's like super high in fiber. And those are my lean cereal choices. And then my last like snack is my 125 grams of cottage cheese, 15 grams of cheese or nuts, and then also 50 grams of apple, or I'll tend to do 10 grams of honey and mix that all together and eat that. And that's basically what I eat in a day and how I meal prep my stuff for the entire week. So hopefully this was helpful. If I'm not recording, this usually takes me less than an hour, so it is something that you guys can definitely do and make time for. You don't have to be fancy with it. It can be literally simple and you can get it all done and still eat really healthy. So if you're looking for healthier options, this is definitely something to do for yourself, and it just allows yourself to pull healthy meals instead of like going for like quick snacks out when you're eating. Because like when I pack my meals, that was so rude. When I pack my meals, I don't tend to like want to go to like a Tim Hortons drive-thru or like a Starbucks drive-thru and grab like a sugary snack or whatever, because I know I have food in my car and it's all prepped and good. Plus, once you prep your food, you feel like guilty for not eating it because you're like, I already paid for it and made it. Why wouldn't I eat it? So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to knock you. Stunning. Ha ha.